So this is how to define a foam inspection. I've already got an INI created, so I'm going to go ahead and open it. Basically what you have to do is select a base image and draw a multiline tool. The part needs to be referenced. The indication here is the reference. I'm going to open the reference editor to illustrate how that's found. Okay, so there are two pattern matches that occur. There's the origin and another pattern match that defines the angle. So this is the region of interest that it's searching. It is searching for this shape. Let's go back to the base image. This is the region of interest that it will be searching for this shape, and from that it's going to create a reference that is the X and Y, and then the angle from that point to the other pattern match. And I'm going to try a different image for a door. Okay, test that. And it moved slightly. I blocked it. Let me do a different one. And I'll zoom in before running it. So we'll open up Ivory. Wait for it to open. Alright, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, well we should, this is the old reference. It didn't get erased. It's still showing the old reference point. And that's the correct reference for this image, for this part in this image. Now again, I don't want that to be the reference that I'm using. That was just for illustration, so I'm going to reopen the INI so that it goes back to the original reference that I was using, and click OK. It's going to load the reference information into the foam inspection. So now the region, or the multiline or path that is defined around the edge of the foam is tied to that reference point. I've already got that created. If I didn't, I would add it here. I would create the I would set the ROI. I would say what kind of door it is, and then we could run a test. Now I'm just going to load this. The ROI, again, in this case, is a path. The door color defines what inspection is going to run. The black door inspection is more difficult than the gray or the ivory, so the black door inspection has some extra steps that it does. We'll go ahead and test this. Alright, there we go. There are, I'm going to zoom in here. There are a series of rectangular region of interests. They are offset a fixed distance from the edge. As the part moves, the reference that comes in will create a shift of the path region of interest. The path region of interest will define where these rectangles need to go. That way we can have the part move around a little bit in the actual inspection. Again, this is just defining the regions. Let me go through what the little squares indicate. The color green means that there was no issue with that area. It was definitely foam. The closer the color gets to red, the fewer spots were found in the region of interest. So what most likely happened here is we have a kind of a bright area that overwhelmed the number of spots. There's probably just one big spot in that area. Let me find another one. This area, the foam is actually starting to get outside of where it should be. This one's messed up because there's that green clip. It seems to be a problem on all of them. When the clip encroaches into where the foam is, a couple of those spots end up, a couple of those regions end up getting low scores. The solution for that may be to change the region of interest so that they don't go over where the clip is. It's undefined at this point. We can change it on site, so not a problem. Here the foam is actually further away from where it should be, so again it changed color. And in this case the foam is twisted, and it is there's basically not enough foam, so it's gone red. I'm going to change to a different door. I'm going to select it ivory, and oh, the reference is pretty close. All right, so we'll go with this reference. Even it's close enough that it should work. So I'll go ahead and test this inspection. Okay, so I'm telling it to use the black door inspection, and you can see that there's still a few spots that it's not real happy with. But clearly there's foam here. So for gray and for ivory doors, the criteria is basically, is that dark enough? So I'm going to switch this over to ivory, since that is in fact an ivory door, and test the inspection, and there we go. Now everything's green, and the colors haven't changed because now it's dark enough to be foam. That's pretty clear. The intensity indicates that there might be something that you want to look at. In this case, actually, I don't see anything there. That one got a little skinny. Actually, everything looks okay there, and it's all green, so that's what we want to see. Okay, this is the difference, or the image delta, between a golden model and then each image capture of a part after that. So in this case, we have a reference similar to what we saw before. I've already got this preloaded, so I'm not going to go through the INI and the reference and the template. I might go through the template. But anyway, so we've got the reference editor, which again is the coordinate that everything's going to be based on. The region of interest, I have to draw a rectangle and place the rectangle around the area that you want to inspect. That's going to become the template. Template has a mask. Anything that is different by brightness, and anything that's different by size. So brightness is the first filter, size is the second filter. Right now, if I do a test on the same image that I've built this from, I'm going to go ahead and test, and we should see that there's no particles have been found, nothing's indicated here as being in error. Now I'm going to test against an image that has a part that has the white pad is missing. And it's going to come up with yellow outline around the areas that it didn't like. One of the things that is noticeable here is that the small change in reflectivity of the part right here shows up as a defect. That can either be masked out, or the minimum brightness can be increased. So what I think we should look at is one of the parts where the felt is missing. Let's see, that is, I think the felt is missing on this part. go ahead and inspect it. Okay, so we've actually got a clip missing, some more of the false errors, and then the felt is missing here, but it didn't show up. Why? Because in this case, the minimum brightness is probably a little bit too high. Let's try inspecting that again, and we should see an area here where, yeah, now it's like, hey, there's no felt, there's no foam. There was, now there's not. But it also increased these fall off areas. So it's kind of a trade-off. You may have to change and make separate ROIs, or really the foam and the felt inspection should be done in its own separate tool.